Okay. Rabbi says sometimes you walk past a gold mine and you just don't chap. You push it, walk past the gold mine, it's right there, all the gold, all the money, everything you need for the rest of your life, and there is no knowledge that goes through your head. You have no idea that it's even walking past. Sometimes you enter a time that is so incredibly packed with kedusha and opportunity, and we don't even chap it. There is no greater example than that of Purim. Yom HaPurim itself is the day of the most greatest opportunity, but yet you're walking past a gold mine and we just don't even chap. It's a famous Ramban. The Ramban says, the more destroyed something is, the more kedusha it has within it. The example being the Beis HaMikdash. It's destroyed, we don't have it, unfortunately. Maybe Beis Hashem later today we'll get it. But until right now we don't have it. The more destructed something is, the more kedusha there is. Therefore Purim is a day which is a little bit of a destroyed day, unfortunately. It's a day that we're busy, often with mitzvahs, but with other things also. We're busy, we're running, we're doing. It's a day of lost opportunity, it's destroyed, and therefore, says the Ramban, that shows the kedusha, the potential. What we can gain, what we can get out of a Purim is something we cannot get out of any other day of the year. So I want to spend a few moments before we discuss the halachas, and we've got a lot of halachas to discuss, to understand a little bit about Purim. Two major questions that I have. Question number one, Rabbi Isai. The Gemara tells us in Megillah, Mevatlin Talmud Torah Lishmoya Mikra Megillah. That means, however geschmack that rashba is, close it and go listen to the Megillah. Right? Because it's a mitzvah. Rabbi Isai Chabakasha. Don't you have to do that for every mitzvah? Why doesn't it say Mevatlin Talmud Torah to go and shake a lulav, which is a daraisa? Mevatlin Talmud Torah to go and eat matzah. Every mitzvah requires bittul Torah in some form, if you want to call it that, which is not obviously, because the Gemara in Kedushin Daf Mem Beis tells us that Talmud made it a maisa. The reason we're learning is in order to do. That's gavaldik. So I have to close the Gemara sometimes to do many mitzvahs. I have to daven. I have to do many of the things I have to have a Seder night. Many things I need to do. Why over here does it say specifically? We don't find this anywhere else that I know of. Mevatlin Talmud Torah to do a mitzvah. We find Erev Yom Kippur, Erev Pesach, there are some similar, but not like this. Mevatlin Talmud Torah. What's so choshev about the Megillah that Chazal have to tell us? Stop learning. However geschmack it is, make sure you listen to the Megillah. Question number one. Question number two. The inyan of getting drunk. Now, we're going to have to discuss this by Riches. We're going to go through some of the Shittas HaPoiskim. And, this is amazing because many times people look for colours. People like looking for colours. What can you do? That's what we're, people like looking for colours. Here, everyone wants to look for the Chomer. Give me the most machmir shita. I want to be Yaitza, all the shitas of getting drunk. I don't want to have any colours. Don't give me any rabbis that say, you have to go to sleep, and that's good enough. I want every Chomer. What's Pshat? The Gemara in Pesachim tells us that one of the people that the Rebbeinu Shem Kaviyachal hates is someone that gets drunk. And yet, one of the mitzvahs hayoim of Purim day, on our Purim, that's Tesvav in Yerushalayim, by the way, in case, we'll get to that, we'll talk about the halachas in a moment, Be'ez Hashem coming up. But Al Kaponim, there's a mitzvah to get completely slammed. What does this mean? What type of religion is this? The Rebbeinu Shalom, the Gemara in Pesachim tells us clearly, hates someone that gets drunk. But here, you have to get completely plastered. Ad K'dei Kach, that the Gemara, when he talks about it, which is a whole Shaila Rabbi and Reb Zeir over there, the Maharsha talks about by Riches, about whether or not we do paskin, we don't paskin. He killed him, he almost shechted him, he tches hamesim, the Gemara that everybody knows. Right? Ad K'dei Kach, that the Amoraim, they did this. They got slammed drunk. What does this mean? What does the Torah want from us? What does Chazal want from us? What is this all about? So that really is my kasha, Rabbi Isai. Two questions that I want to try to get to in the small amount of time that we have. Obviously, we can go on and discuss it, but just for today, to give you a hakadama into the inyan of the Heilige Kodesh Hayoim of Purim. So first of all, the Sfar HaKadoshim bring down the Mishnah in the beginning of Masechtas Megillah, where the Mishnah tells us like this. The Megillah is allowed to be read, nowadays generally it's Yud Aleph and Tesvav, but in the days of Chazal, Mishnah tells us clearly, it can be read on Yud Aleph, Yud Beis, and also Yud Gimel, right? For certain people that needed to travel, that weren't in their regular homes, whatever it may be, in the Gemara there explains us when. But Al Kaponim, the Mishnah tells us, Yud Aleph, Yud Beis, and Yud Gimel. Zuk the Sfar HaKadoshim. This is the Shloisha Shemei Agbola. Just like before Kabbalah Satorah, you can't just rock up to Kabbalah Satorah. It doesn't work that way. You need 3 days before. You need 3 days to prepare yourself in order to be Makabal the Torah. It's the same thing with Purim. So the Svarim HaKadoshim, you can't just rock up to a Purim. There's a 3-day period before Purim of preparation. And that's represented by the Mishnah that says you can read Megillah on 3 days before. That's Yud Aleph, Yud Beis, and Yud Gimel. The Heilige Chassam Sofer in Droshes, look at this up, it's in Zayin Adar. The Droshes of Chassam Sofer and Zayin Adar says an amazing thing. Zuk Chassam Sofer, Esther told everyone to fast for 3 days. Right? Zuk Chassam Sofer, an amazing thing. Esther told Klal Yisrael to fast for 3 days before she went into Achashverosh. Why? Zuk Chassam Sofer, it was like the 3 days before Matan Torah. To be Makabel the Torah, you had to fast, you had to get involved, you had to be ready. Zuk the Gemara, Shabbos Peches, they were Makabel the Torah again by Purim. Right? They were Makabel the Torah. Therefore, some Sofer Esther told Klal Yisrael to fast because they were being Makabel the Torah. Therefore, 3 days before Purim, a person can have to start preparing in order to Makabel the Torah. And this time it was Ba'ava, it was B'simcha. That's what it was. Like Moshe Rabbeinu told Klal Yisrael to prepare, so to the same thing over here. And we know from all the Svarim HaKadoshim and Siv Shalom is full of this as well, the Kedushas Levi, that when a person has a Yontov isn't just a commemoration of what happened, right? That we don't hold that Pesach or Sukkot or Shavuos is a remembrance for something that happened thousands of years ago. That's not Pshat. Pshat in a Yontov is, it's the Svarim HaKadoshim, that the actual or the light of that Yom Tov that happened then happens for us every single year that we have. And therefore every year on Purim, the or of the Kedusha of Purim, that they were Makabel the Torah, they were Makabel everything, comes back to us. I want to read you an unbelievable Mishnah Purim. So listen to this. Just to give you an inkling into the idea of the Kedusha of Purim. Yom HaPurim, take advantage of it. Listen to this Mishnah Berurah. It's in Simon Tzadik Sikoton Chof Ches in Orach Chaim. Chelek Aleph. Mishnah Berurah brings like this. He brings a Tshuvas HaRadvaz. We're talking about davening on Purim. The Radvaz asks the following kasha. What happens if a person's in a dungeon and he's stuck with nothing? He can't daven, he can't eat, he can't do anything. The king grants him one day that he's allowed to daven. Choose the day that you daven. He gets to choose. What happens now? Ask the Radvaz, does he, number one, choose today? If the king asked him to choose, so you have an opportunity to daven, don't pass it up and say, I'll do it later on when it's more chashuv. I want to do it now. That's the Radvaz's suffix number one. Do I take today? Or, listen to this, Rabbi Yisai. The Radvaz says this. Do I wait until Yom Kippur or Purim? Wow. Now, Yom Kippur, I understand. I want to wait till Yom Kippur, Slicha Mechila, I want to do, that's how I understand. Oh, but Purim? Mr. brings the Radvaz. They have a suffix whether or not you should say, I'm going to wait till Purim to daven. If they're going to give me one opportunity to daven, it should be Purim. That's the suffix of the Radvaz. I'm not going to go into now how we pass it. Ein Shom in the Mishnah Berurah, Tzadi Chof Ches. But upon him, there's a tzad in the Radvaz that the holiest day, the best day to daven is on Yom Purim. And yet what are people doing? Busy, running, doing. Rabbi Yisai, Tefillah. The Kedusha of Purim is unimaginable. It's unattainable any other day of the year. We have to learn to take opportunity. We walk past a gold mine. We have to learn to take advantage. So, I want to tell you a Mordecai Meiser. I think I've said it before. Actually, I know I've said it before. But this represents exactly what Purim is. It represents the day of Purim. It represents everything that goes on during Purim. And it's choshev for us to realize what it's all about. And this story is with the Heilige Baditsheva, the Kedushas Levi. The Baditsheva was staying in an inn once. And the innkeeper at the time, which was the normal thing in those days, was a complete Amoritz. He knew nothing about anything. And he's walking around the inn late at night just to make sure everyone's okay. You know, you've got drunk people all over the place. You've got people coming in late at night. So he walked around to make sure everything's good. And he hears an interesting sound from the Baditcheva's room. Now, he knows that this big rabbi came in. So he hears this noise from outside the door. And he starts to listen. What's this noise from this big rabbi, this holy rabbi's room? And he hears like a crying. And he says, oh, this is terrible. What happened? What happened to this rabbi? Is everything okay? So he knocks on the door. And the Baditsheva opens up. He's got tears and tears streaming down. He said, holy rabbi, what happened? Is everything okay? Can I help you with something? Who died? What situation are you going through? So the Rebbe said, come inside. There's something called Tikkun Chatzos, that we sit and we mourned the Beis HaMikdash. Now this innkeeper was a Yid. Beis HaMikdash, what are you talking about? I never heard of any of these things before. So Badicheva slowly and patiently starts to explain to him that we used to have a Beis HaMikdash. And when we had the Beis HaMikdash, we had the Shechina, and the Urim V'Tumim, and the Korbanos, and the Kapara for Klal Yisrael, and everything we had. And he painted the most beautiful picture of what it was like to live with the Beis HaMikdash. And then he said, but we lost the Beis HaMikdash. With our Averis, with the Sinas Chinam, with the Lashon Hara, with whatever it is that Chazal tell us in the Gemara and Yuma that we lost the Beis HaMikdash, we don't have a Beis HaMikdash. And because of that, we don't have the Kahanim, we don't have the Avodah, we don't have the Urim V'Tumim, we don't have the Korbanos. And he started explaining to him the situation of Klal Yisrael in the way it is because we don't have a Beis HaMikdash. And this poor innkeeper started crying. He chapped what was going on. He never heard any of this stuff in his life. This is the first time he was exposed to such things. He started Pashat crying. And he was crying such deep tears that he was crying in such a deep way that he was going crazy. He was crying and sobbing emotionally. That the Badicheva saw that he was going to have a heart attack. She said, no, you have to understand. We only lost the Beis HaMikdash because Chazal tell us that if not for the Rebbeinu Shalom taking it out on eitzim v'avonim, on stones and sticks, the Rebbeinu Shalom would have had to Chas v'Shalom take it out on Klal Yisrael. So we lost the Beis HaMikdash, but it was for our benefit. It was because we can improve, we can do tshuva. Gewaldig! So there they are, the Badicheva and the innkeeper, in the room, in the middle of the night, and they suddenly get up to dance. They were crying their eyes out a minute ago. But they're getting up to dance, tears of simcha, because we don't have a Beis HaMikdash. It looked like a crazy sight. But the answer is, that's exactly what Purim is. What Purim is we're besimcha. We're besimcha from what we have to know, the situation that we're besimcha in. A Yid was waiting online, on the Tosha Rebbe's line. It was a huge line. And there was a poor man who was waiting for some money, as it was the derech. You needed money, you go to the Rebbe. So there he is waiting in line to go and see the Tosha Rebbe to make some money. And he's waiting. And as he gets closer and closer, the Rebbe sees him. And the Rebbe sees in the corner of his eye this Yid. And the Rebbe knows what he's looking for. The Rebbe knows exactly what he wants. And he's thinking to himself, I have nothing to give him. I'm cleaned out. I'm empty. I don't know he's going to come here. He's going to ask me for money. Got nothing to give him. He had an idea. He saw right in the back of the line this wealthy guy. Now, generally, when wealthy people came into the Rebbe, they came in with a pidyon. They came in with a certain amount of money. They asked from the Rebbe a bracha, and they gave a good kvittel, and they got what they wanted. But they always put down money. So the Rebbe knew when this wealthy man comes in, he's going to go and he's going to give money. So he's going to have money to give to the poor man. But he has to let him in first. So he tells the Gabba, tell that wealthy guy, come straight to the front. Right? So he comes straight to the front, tells him what he needs, puts down the money. This poor man was so upset. That chutzpah? Well, because I'm a poor guy and he's a wealthy guy. Straight in, protects her like that. Chutzpah. He comes into the Rebbe. He starts screaming at the Rebbe. How can you do that to me? Mavazami. I've waited hours on the line. And because of you, because he's wealthy. And the Rebbe says, you don't understand. You don't see the whole picture. I needed to give you money. I wanted to give you something. In order to give you something, I needed to allow this rich man to come in order to give you the money that you needed. The Megillah teaches us exactly this yesod. It says the Kedushas Levi. The whole Megillah is one chefza os kol da'ovid rachmana letavovit. Or when you see something, it's not geschmack, it doesn't make sense, I don't understand it, why this, why that, why him, why that? No. Everything is good. Everything the Rabbeinu Shalom does is good. We don't understand it, we don't see it. Maybe we'll never understand it, sometimes we do, but not every time. And the whole Megillah is basically going through that. And that's the Pshat, Rabbi Isai. Mevatlin Talmud Torah Lishmoya Mikra Megillah means that yes, some Avada Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam Torah is the greatest thing that a person could do on planet Earth, without a shadow of a doubt. Talmud Torah is the greatest thing that any person can ever do in this planet. However, sometimes, like the Gemara in Zvachim also tells us, Bitulu Kiyumai, sometimes after Mavatul Torah, which is the Kiyum of Torah, Zuch Hazal, over here, when a person reads the Megillah, when a person understands the Megillah, when a person knows what he's reading, what's going on, what transpired in those episodes, then he gets such a gewaldige geschmack, and realizing, Rabbeinu Shalom, No, I don't understand everything. I don't understand what goes on in the world. Sometimes it doesn't look like it's fair. And therefore we look at the Megillah, we get a chizuk, everything that looked bad, Esther writing Haman, and it goes all over the place. What's going on? Looks terrible. But we don't understand, like that man on the line. We don't understand that the Rebbeinu Shalom is doing everything for our good. And everything that happens in our lives is because the Rebbeinu Shalom wants to give us the greatest that we possibly can. But we don't understand it. And that's also the Pshat Adlo Yoda. Why does the Rebbeinu Shalom want us to get drunk? What's the Pshat? When a person's drunk, he has no das. He can't think straight. He can't make normal decisions. He can't even speak straight. What's the Pshat? Pshat Rabbi says like this. The whole year, we make cheshbonis. The whole year we live our lives with cheshbonis of this is happening because of this is happening because of that. One day a year, the Rebbeinu Shalom wants us to have no cheshbonis. Just live with the Rebbeinu Shalom. No cheshbonis. No thinking about this. Oh, if I say this, he's going to be embarrassed. If I say this, then he's going to know. No. Just live, just go. Adlo Yada, just drink and drink and drink. So you're just going with life and you're living with the Rebbeinu Shalom. We're talking about someone that acts in the correct way when he's drunk. But if a person acts in the correct way, he learns on Purim to live with the Rebbeinu Shalom without any distractions, without all those things that during the year he lives with the cheshbonis and calculations of how life works and what happens because of this and what happens because of that. No. Everything happens because the Rebbeinu Shalom just go. That's what Rav Meilech Biederman brings down. That when it comes to Purim, we all know that you're not allowed to drink and drive. You're not allowed to drink and drive. It's also, it's illegal. It's also pi halacha to drink and drive. Chas v'shalom, terrible thing to do. Oh, but that's what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants on Purim. Drink but don't drive, meaning don't think you're in the driving seat. Don't think you know how to run your life, how to go in the way that you want it to go. Just drink and live with the Rebbeinu Shalom. Live with that idea that the Megillah represents the greatest hashgacha pratis that we see so clearly, even though it's hidden in the world. Rabbi said that's the pshat, and those are the answers to the two questions we started with. Number one, mevatel and Talmud Torah D'Shmaya and Mikra Megillah, because the chizuk we get from listening to Megillah is unparalleled to anything you can get in the whole year. And number two, Adlo Yada, drink and get plastered for shteitzach in the right way, because you learn to live with the Rebbeinu Shalom without any calculations. And when we do that, Rabbi say, it won't be walking past a gold mine that we don't chat what Purim is. Like the Radvaz told us, we're going to take Purim of a day of tefillah, a day of kedusha, a day that we can get so much from it for ourselves, for our lives, and for our futures. And Be'ez Hashem will use the day that the Rebbeinu Shalom will give us siyata d'shmaya and have a wonderful kedusha. Have a wonderful day.